Turning Red is an adorable, heartfelt, imaginative movie that is 100% worth your time and money. End of story, period. P.S. Yes, pun intended. You ever just want to give a certain film a great big hug? And I don't just say that because this movie is cuter than a crate of caramel kittens. I say that because Turning Red took the mother of all critical beatings before it was even released. I mean, when I saw the trailer for My Two Best and Totoro, I thought it was gonna be cute. Nothing groundbreaking, but an overall enjoyable film, like most of Pixar's work. But the majority of the internet did not agree. This movie was slammed early on for its overly cartoony art style, fast-paced movements, and supposedly niche target audience. After all that, I just wanted to let this movie cry on my shoulder as I say, hey, it's gonna be okay. You'll have a chance to prove yourself soon. And after finally checking it out on Disney Plus for myself, I can confirm that it is a blast to watch. This is one of the freshest Pixar movies we've had in a while. The animation being bouncy, energetic, and overly expressive fits perfectly with the theme of expressing yourself and letting the wild side out. It's a unique detour from the usual grounded stylings of Pixar. Plus, it's just freaking fun! Look at all these faces and these motions! These girls have got reaction gifs for days! The characters also shine super brightly, not just through their personalities, but especially through their dynamics. Heck, this movie managed to take the common kids film trope of the one-dimensional friend group and actually made it work. Sure, Mei Mei's three friends on paper are pretty generic, but the way they all talk and fangirl together and just care so much for her, I don't know, I just love seeing these four do stuff and hang out together. It's freaking infectious. The core theme of accepting all sides of yourself, even the messy ones, is a concept that I feel is relatable to all. I know some people argue that it's a girl movie for girls that only girls will understand, but despite making certain references to female-only problems, which they actually handle really well, I think that the message is more universal than most people think. Heck, the only pad I use is the one under my mouse, and even I can relate to problems like suppressing emotions and living up to parental expectations. And while I'm not huge on the music, I understand why they went with the whole boy band aesthetic. Boy bands are kind of like the training wheels of female relationships. They're soft, non-threatening pretty boys with easy-to-grasp one-note personalities. Heck, even the quote-unquote bad boy would probably get beaten up by Steve Urkel. Their music is vague enough to apply to pretty much anyone that wants to listen, and they don't have to worry about things like commitment and heartbreak. It's the perfect fantasy. Though I do have to wonder what kind of song they would sing to a red panda girl. Well, girl, you're covered in fur and you kinda smell, you don't know, you're an Asian land mammal. So yeah, it's far from my favorite Pixar film, but overall, I heavily enjoyed it. And to all the people that turned away from Turning Red without giving the film its turn to turn you on to something cool, I recommend you reconsider and check it out. Now with all that out of the way, let's get to what you all clicked to see. My discussion about the movie's main magical element, the Red Panda Blessing. AKA the thing that turns Mei's family into fluff butts in the first place. While the film does a good job of explaining the blessing's origins and the consequences and the removal process, etc., there are a couple missing details and glossed over aspects that I've been thinking about ever since I first saw the movie. So in this video, I'm going to be going over everything we can infer about the Red Panda Blessing in the movie, including when it happens, how it can be different for different family members, the methods of containment, and a little dive into its originator, Sun Yee. As always, these are just my personal thoughts and ideas, and if you have anything to say about the Red Panda magic or Turning Red as a whole, you're free to leave a comment below. But for now, let's dig deep into these piles of scarlet fuzz and talk about what will be, is, and was. Let's go! Let's start off with the obvious question. How does the Red Panda Blessing first develop in a family member? No. It's obvious from the movie that a female leaf first achieves their panda form after an event of raw, unbridled emotion. Just pure, no holding back feeling all let out in a swift burst. Now it's likely that only one emotion is required to unleash the beast, like maybe a rage-fueled angry tirade or an event of public embarrassment, but based on what we see, it's also possible that you need to exhibit every major outward emotion in succession in order to let the panda loose. To explain what I mean, let's look at the two main examples of panda release that we know, Mei and Ming. Before Mei goes RP for the first time, we're shown back-to-back scenes of her expressing every major panda triggering emotion. Happiness when she first finds out about the Fort Town tour, infatuation when she's drawing her Mermaid Zoolander fan art, fear when she's publicly embarrassed by her mom, and a combination of anger and sadness when she's scolding herself for her behavior. All taking place within the span of, a few hours it looks like. Plus, they really make an effort to emphasize each and every one of these with dramatic close-ups, as if to say that they're all contributing to one big upcoming occurrence. Like it's coming, just wait. As for Ming, while we don't actually see her first panda transformation, it's implied by Mei's father and grandmother, as well as younger Ming herself in the astral realm, that the first time Ming actually changed was when the grandmother disapproved of her choice in partner. That's when she hurt her grandmother and likely gave her that scar that we see on her eye. Judging solely from young Ming's appearance with her greater height, thinner face, and different uniform, it seems like she could be anywhere from sophomore to junior year of high school, so I could totally see a similar chain of emotions leading up to Ming's eventual release. Like maybe her boyfriend made the offer to go steady for the rest of high school, and then you could have her express happiness at that offer, infatuation, cause, it's her boyfriend, fear at having to break the news to her mother, and then finally the anger-sadness combo when she officially disapproves of him. I feel like having multiple emotional outbursts in a row makes complete sense when it comes to letting this ultimate form loose. It's kind of like opening chakras in a way. It's possible that I'm overthinking all this, but yeah, one thing's for certain is that Ali's panda form first comes out after an event of big outward emotion. And speaking of big, let's talk about the size variation of these guys. The biggest question I had in the movie is why are the majority of the lead ladies sporting small bear-sized panda forms while Ming is the size of a freaking kaiju? It's not like it's a generation thing where your panda grows larger as you age. I mean, look at the grandmother. She's puny compared to her daughter.
Some girls' mothers are bigger than other girls' mothers.
We don't get a proper answer to this in the movie either, but I do have a theory. I like to think that the more emotions you suppress before first unleashing your panda, the bigger it will be in its base form. Let me explain. There are a couple of context clues in the movie which try to establish a sense of normalcy with the Red Panda Blessing. Like there are certain things that are supposed to happen when Ali is affected by it. When we see Sun Yee in both the scroll flashback and the astral realm, she's about the size of a normal bear, maybe a little bit bigger. There's also another drawing where she looks like she's building sized, but I see that more as symbolic, like, look at me, I am Power Woman, I can take on a whole army all by myself, woo, or something like that. We also hear Mei's mom and dad say things like, it's happening already? And, I thought I had more time, you're just a child. The definition of child really varies depending on who you ask, but it's obvious that Mei's current age of 13 is seen as too early for the panda to come out, and it's probably more normal to see it at least a little later, like 14 or 15. Now, if we look at young Ming in the astral realm again, which is implied to be how she looked when her panda first came out, I said before that her overall appearance and attire suggest that she's likely in sophomore or junior year of high school, which would put her at about 15 to 17 years old, a max of 3 years later than the panda is supposed to come out. Top all of this off with Ming's sisters, aka the Ant Squad, looking to be older than her, about the same age, and about the same panda size, and here is my forecast for the evening! Back when Ming was still a child, her mother made sure to tell all of her daughters about the Panda Blessing early on so that they could prepare for it. She taught them how to stay calm when their emotions got high, all of Ming's sisters got their panda at the proper age of around 14 years old, and the mother was able to safely contain them without issue, much like when she got her own. But Ming wasn't so lucky. The entirety of her 14th year went by with no panda to speak of. This made her mother worry about what could be going on. Is there something wrong with her? Is this a sign that something worse could be coming? She had no idea. She attempts to double down on her whole calming routines to help Ming stay as mellow and relaxed as possible. But under the surface, all this uncertainty about what the Red Panda spell might do to her, on top of the usual stress that comes with needing to be the perfect little prodigy for her mother, is just constantly being pushed down, bottled up to the point of bursting. 1 to 3 years of this go by, with her only letting out small bits of emotion around certain people that she cares about, like her high school sweetheart, who really helps to keep her centered a lot of the time. But when her mother gives their relationship the big N.O., she pretty much pops the cap on the emotional soda and lets it finally burst, leading to the big fuzzy kaiju that we witness in the movie. Personally, the idea of Ming's panda being delayed and her mother basically piling more stress on top of her already stressful life because of it would explain why her panda is so huge compared to the others. Heck, Ming's whole philosophy of just watching her daughter for signs and not telling her about the panda could be her way of making sure that her daughter doesn't get the same level of stress if she happens to be delayed. Plus, the panda was the thing that ruined her relationship with her own mother, so yeah, the later she has to bring that up, the better. Alright, so you're black and white and red all over, you got more hair than Sasquatch's shower drain, so what you gonna do? A good old-fashioned pandacism, of course. You sit in a chalk circle while your family sings from their hearts, you walk through a mirror reflection of your old self, and poof, the panda's gone. and its spirit is stored in a special talisman, which then takes on the red scarlet design of the beast itself. It also seems like the talisman could be pretty much anything, from a necklace to a bracelet to a brooch, hair clip, earrings, ring, and... Tamagotchi? Yeah, apparently Ming put her panda in May's Tamagotchi, which not only changed the look of it, but also its behavior, since it seems to be way hungrier than a virtual pet would normally be. Okay, time out. Are they trying to say that your panda spirit can inhabit technology and actually affect how it functions? So, what would happen if you decided to put your panda in your cell phone or your laptop or your smartwatch or something? Would she just be sitting around on your desktop messing with your files and playing around with random apps? Would you have to feed her 500 bamboo PNGs a day? Could she jump ship and head to the internet if she wanted? Is this some kind of sequel hook? Should I prepare myself for Turning Red 2 Panda Breaks the Internet? No, I should probably just stop overthinking all this and move on. So I will. The last thing about the blessing I want to mention is Sun Yee herself. We only see her spirit twice in the whole movie, once during May's first attempt at pandacism, and at the end when May actually decides to keep her form. And I'm just gonna say that I really appreciate the way they non-verbally portray her. Her first appearance has her floating up to Mei Mei in silence with a neutral look on her face, as if to say, I will not sway this one way or the other, removing the panda is completely your choice, so you must make it. There you go. But then at the very end, she actually gives Mei Mei a great big smile, showing that while she didn't want to interfere during her decision, now that it's over, she is extremely happy with the one she made. And why shouldn't she be? The entire point of the red panda is that it's a blessing, a gift, something that kept the family safe so they could breed new generations in the first place. And the fact that her modern descendants are treating it as an inconvenience and a challenge is probably very upsetting to her. So when May made the choice to keep the form, and will likely pass down that ideology to her own kids, it not only showed a willingness to embrace and respect all sides of herself, but it also demonstrated a respect for her ancestors, and the effort they went to ensure the safety and well-being of future generations. How weird is it that the family's whole business is running a temple dedicated to honoring their ancestors, and yet by sealing away the panda, they're basically committing the biggest dishonor imaginable.
Now that is irony!
So yeah, that's pretty much everything about the Red Panda Blessing that I could pick up on. There really is a lot more here than first meets the eye. But what do you guys think? What are your 2 cents on the Red Panda Blessing? And what did you think of Turning Red as a whole? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to see you all real soon.